Hi everyone, how are we doing? So what I've done is I've downloaded real GDP figures from the St. Louis Federal Reserve website, FRED. And we've actually looked at that, but given the restrictions for this semester, I just downloaded the data and I'll be talking about it. So if you see real GDP here starts in 1947 and goes up to 2019. And if you notice in the early 50s and 60s, an upward trend in real GDP. And then we see a little downturn there. It's actually 73 to 75, which we're going to be spending quite a bit of time with. And then output starts to grow again. So this is a recession. And if you notice, this is a new trend that starts. And the old trend, we never get back up to that old trend. So this we're going to view as a permanent recession. Then we had a recession in 81, 82, which is viewed as temporary because as you're going along this trend, eventually you get back to the original trend, so that recession was temporary. Then if you notice from 1990 on, we got steady growth, a couple of little dips and doodles, and right up here is the Great Recession. And we'll be spending quite a bit of time with that. And you can also see the Great Recession was permanent because if we're going along that trend, we never get back up to that original trend. So this loss in output was permanent and actually makes every one of us worse off. Okay, the next slide is just looking at a shorter period of time from 1947 to 72. So you can see the variations in output actually vary by quite a bit more. So we're not too concerned with the 50s and 60s in terms of our class, but just to highlight that if you shorten the sample period, you will get a more definitive perspective on what's going on. Now, what's of interest here is the 1970 to 83.4 period. If you notice, output's going along, and then we have the 73 to 75 recession, and then we grow out of it, and we go along this new trend. But again, as I said before, the original trend we never get back to. So what we argue is we're actually worse off. And here's the 81 to 82 recession, where here's the trend, and we actually get back to that trend. So that, in fact, is a temporary recession, which we'll be spending time with. Then, if you look at 1984 to 2001, by and large, ignoring a couple of times in the early 1990s, output grew at a steady pace. And then if you look at the last period, 2000.1 to 2019.4, what we see is in the 2000s, output was growing at a pretty steady rate and things were great. Then we had the Great Recession, and then we grew out of the Great Recession, and in fact, we ended up on this new trend line. Again, you can see that the original trend before the Great Recession, we never got back to. So this is a lower trend line. It's increasing at the same rate, but we're actually permanently worse off. So I want to stop here, and we'll pick it up later on.